So, hey guys, welcome back to Game Week Talks. It's been quite a long break, to be entirely honest. We missed a complete game week, and we probably must apologize for that. So, we'll be having probably an extra long session, is what I feel. And we'll be trying to cover about what's happened in both the game weeks, and we'll try to mash up around 40 minutes. So, hope it's an extra content for all you guys to watch. So it's going to be really interesting because it's two back-to-back game weeks. It's been a very you know fast game week is what I'd call for all the big teams, and there's no rest. And if we go back to last week, it's been a really tricky and really frantic game week is again what I always say. It's a word I like to use a lot, and I always use it. So if we let's start with the immediate game week. Let's talk about Arsenal and Man U. That's been the talk of the town. Arsenal's not won in Man United in 14 years, and they've come and won 1-0. So whoever wants to go first, it's going to be fun for me.
Let's really go.
My God, it's great. Been waiting for this moment in the Premier League for 14 years. Last time it was Adebayor who scored the goal. This time it's another African in Aubameyang. But going into this game after our previous game week disappointment, going into this game we were not confident. And seeing the results that Man U have been having, we were actually kind of scared that we might get a huge battering at their hands.
Right.
But we have to credit Aubameyang for turning up, and Arteta for picking the team. He picked up the right team, and he made Elneny play in the midfield. I'm not a big fan of Elneny, but then he was immense. At the 91st minute, he was hounding Luke Shaw, and they had nowhere else to go back and start from the defense. So everyone had a great game for Arsenal, and I'd say the way we played at Leicester and the way we played at Man U, it was totally different. We were not as defensive as we were at Leicester, even though we were set up to be more defensively solid against Man U. We were more attacking. We were from the start. We were pinching the ball up their attack, and then we were trying to impose our game on Manchester United, which we actually didn't do against Leicester. So I think the first half we completely dominated Manchester United, apart from that one shot from Greenwood that Leno saved. Apart from that, I don't think we were troubled at all. Even in the second half, they came back strong in the second half. But after we scored the goal, then Arteta was enough of attack. seven defenders. He brought on 6 to 7 defenders, and then we just shut up shop, which is great to have. We need to have this kind of games against big teams like Manchester United, and with Rashford's pace up front, it was great tactics by Arteta to set up in that way, because Leipzig were opened up by Rashford because they were playing too high up the field. But Arteta's team selection, and Partey was brilliant. He showed who's the boss. He was bossing the midfield. Pogba was not. He was not at all in the game except for that penalty. He didn't do anything. He didn't contribute anything. Even Bruno was taken off when they were chasing the game. They took one of their most creative players off, because he was not effective. Elneny was on him all the time whenever he had the ball. Partey was breaking up play, spraying up passes, and Gabriel he's been the signing of the season for Arsenal. I know we've signed Partey, but Gabriel was immense. He's been putting in man of the match performances from the get-go. He scored his first goal for Arsenal when he in his debut, and since then he's been amazing. Like he's not put a foot wrong. But I just want to know what went wrong with Manchester United. Sharda, please tell me what went wrong with your team. Like you guys were on the up. I thought you guys were in brilliant form coming into this game.
I was very optimistic coming to this game, and moreover, Solskjaer did deploy the diamond against you guys. So it actually worked very well against Leipzig because I think centre forwards prefer to play with much lesser width through the centre with Bissaka and maybe Shaw coming spraying crosses. But I think you have to give credit to Arsenal and Arteta, especially at the same time, because I think defensively they were compact, they were solid. I mean, if Bruno doesn't have, it's been a long time since Bruno hasn't actually had an influence on a game for 80 to 85 minutes. So I think you have to give credit to Arteta, but obviously special mention to Partey and Bellerin. Partey was actually coming in and distributing the ball, getting the ball, doing all the dirty work, also trying to spray passes up front. And look, from my part, I think this hasn't been the first time that Pogba has done this. It was a stupid penalty to concede. I mean, it wasn't a very dangerous situation. I think it was really a stupid penalty to concede at that stage. I think sometimes even he did that last season during West Ham when a free kick came and he just used his hand to block his head. So it was actually disappointing because I didn't expect Man United to play that well in the Champions League midweek. I think Leipzig were given a huge thrashing. It is very optimistic to say that because beating the last season's UCL semi-finalists 5-0 at home is no mean feat. But the part where United and the players are struggling right now is, I think, consistency. They're not trying to do the same things over and over again. I think it's actually been a tough time to replicate performances over a longer period of time. And I think credit to Arsenal, but Arsenal deserve the 3 points.
I feel that you have like two separate teams, like one that plays in the Champions League who keep winning, and then when you come to the Premier League, it's like the Space Jam moment where you lose all your powers. Like you guys keep losing. It's 6-7 games and you just you're 15th and you not won at Old Trafford this season.
And we haven't won at Old Trafford. I think since we beat Sheffield United, I guess. I think that was Martial's hat trick. Since then, I think it's some 6 to 7 games. Yeah. And look, when it comes to the 11 that we put on that day, I think I actually thought Van de Beek be selected ahead of McTominay. I think McTominay does provide a good defensive cover, but I think playing both McTominay and Fred in the time, I don't think it's going to work when you're actually center forwards. You don't get a lot of creativity. McTominay, most of the time, he sprays either sideward or backward passes. I think Van de Beek, I think it's really unfair to him, and I think he did a really good job against Leipzig. So I
wanted to see Van de Beek.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think Van de Beek would have strengthened your midfield a lot more, and we would have been a lot more cautious in the midfield because we know what he can do. He can run with the ball, and I think there will be a lot less pressure on Pogba and Bruno to perform as much as so they can just sit back and let Van de Beek do something. They can't rely on McTominay to create or run with the ball, but then they can rely on Van de Beek to do that. I don't know why Ole hasn't picked Van de Beek.
I mean, even the guy is not doing anything wrong at the same time. He scored against Crystal Palace. He plays well in Champions League or whenever he comes on as a substitute. It was baffling, to be honest.
Like even the chance that he had in the second half that came off the post from Leno's head, it was created by Van de Beek. I think he shot the ball and it ricocheted off El Nini's foot, and then we were lucky on that part. Like we would have been unlucky if we considered the goal, but it was a great victory for us. Like after 14 years to have this victory is brilliant. Like for us it's. Yeah, for us, it's like we did win in the FA Cup. Like Welbeck did go there and win this, but in the Premier League, we have not done this.
Yeah,
but
to add context, actually, it has been since 2015-16, I guess it's Arsenal's first away win against some other team in the top six.
Last time it was Man City at Etihad when Giroud and Cazorla were playing great. So it's been so long since we did that, and for a club like Arsenal, it's a huge statement. And Arteta has won his 2 games against Manchester United. He's like the second manager to do it after Herbert Chapman. That guy did it in
Which is in
1920s or something.
1920 or 30. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and next we are going to Molda, which is Ole's ex club. So I think it's going to be fun for us. I'm happy, man. I can't complain. We were great on that day, and I feel Van de Beek should start more. Like he should start
Yeah.
getting into the team more. Ole should be benching Pogba.
I mean,
And
from the
at
neutral
least
perspective, if you ask me, between Arsenal, I mean, from what I've seen and what I've read in Twitter, I couldn't actually watch the game 90 minutes. What I actually heard was both the team weren't extremely great. Out of both the teams, Arsenal were creating a lot of chances, but we are not taking the chances enough. But for me, I also expected United to win the game with the performance they've put against a lot of teams in Champions League and the recent form in Premier League. So I expected United to come off with a victory. But what Arsenal did, we have to give credit to Partey because he had an exceptionally good game. He bossed the midfield. He did all the dirty work. But for me, for Arsenal, I see this as a small problem that they should be worried about. By they're not taking their chances. They're not finishing off their chances. They've got a lot of goals. They've scored a lot of goals against. I mean, what they've scored for me, they've scored 3 goals against Fulham, and that is
Yeah.
the only game I felt they scored 3 goals. Apart from that, I have not seen Arsenal create a lot of chances, and they've had a lot of chance. They've had a lot of trouble with that creativity. So going forward, this game was good. This game was a little bit different because of the way United set up, and United were absent in the midfield completely. And Partey did all the work, which freed up El Neni, and he was doing all the work. So I actually see Partey and Ceballos, and if Partey does all the dirty work and Ceballos creates a lot, and I think Arsenal could create a lot more. And I'm not going to go into the topic where Ozil should be brought in because
I think,
it's not
yeah,
on the
I
agenda.
think it's just because I think we'll have two different midfields.
Mm.
Partey will be the mainstay in every game, and who plays along with him will change depending on the game.
Right.
Like if it's an away game to Manchester United or any big team, I think El Neni will come in so that he can make it more compact. We'll not be setting up for a creative midfielder at that point because Partey is capable of creating from the midfield.
Right.
So we will we'll play El Neni like what we did. And if I think next week when we are at home playing against Aston Villa, I think we'll play Ceballos, someone there, so that he can create a bit more. But Partey will be in the midfield, and he's not going anywhere from there. So
Right.
to answer your thing that we've not been taking our chances, that's something that's a huge issue. If you had taken our chances against City and Liverpool, it would have been a
We would have
different.
been talking about a different Arsenal completely. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And the thing, what I'm happy about is like this is what exactly Klopp did when he came to Liverpool. He shored up the defense, and right now we have the best defensive record in the Premier League. After playing against Man City and Liverpool and Leicester and United, so we played against these teams, and we have the better
And
goal
3 of those
difference.
games are
We
away
have
games, I guess.
Right.
exactly the 3 of the games are away games. So
I mean, to
it's
put a lot of
huge
things in
credit.
context, for me, Arsenal are in a better position because they've already played Liverpool, United, and they've also already played
Yeah.
City, so they're already in a
City
better
away, yeah.
position. So they will have a run of fixtures where it will be winnable, but that is also a very testing fixture for Arsenal, is what I'd say, because I feel in many ways Arsenal do well in all the big games. They all try to grind out results, but there's all the small games where they don't do extremely well. They find it very hard for them to get a result, but it'll be very interesting to see how Arteta manages to do that. But
I think that's the case for all the clubs this season. Like it's difficult for any club to
Right.
go and say we will thrash this team. It's not going to happen. Like for instance, uh, uh, this Aston Villa, they almost came back last week. Like
Right.
Yeah.
they were like 3 goals down, and they came to 4-3. So even with Chelsea, you guys were 3-0 down, and you guys came back. And against Southampton, you guys were leading, and then that's crazy. Anything can happen.
It's a
And for
very, very
Tottenham, they 3-0 from
right.
3-0, they West Ham came back and drew the game. So you can't guess this season. You
Mm.
can't
I
say
think
we are going to that team and win. We can't say that. Like
Right.
the
we
fear
didn't
factor has
expect.
gone.
We didn't expect Everton to lose this week. We didn't expect that. We thought they'll win against Newcastle,
Which says a lot
but
about
then
the
they
season.
lost, right? Yeah,
I mean,
and without
in the
Rodriguez, Everton looks different team.
I mean, I wouldn't say
yeah,
without Rodriguez, without their first team on the pitch, without their Richarlison, without
Richarlison,
their
yeah,
they
proper
didn't have
first team
Dean
on the pitch,
also.
they do look a different side. And a lot of teams now realize that they were getting too ahead of themselves when Everton were having the big run of form in Premier League. That might happen to all the clubs, is what I feel. When they don't have their first 11 on the pitch, they might struggle because it's going to be really, really very, very tricky for all the clubs because of the fixtures, which is coming really, really fast for them. So let's see how it goes. And you were going to say something, Saza.
Yeah, I was actually telling the fear factor has actually gone this season because you see a lot of these small clubs, they don't necessarily have to buy players in the recent transfer window. So most of the players from the big clubs have actually been loaned out to the smaller clubs. So you see very good players who are capable of playing in the top six, I guess. I mean, you see Ross Barkley playing for Aston Villa.
Right.
And I mean, that's just one example. There's a host of other examples out there. So yeah, I think we will see a lot of upsets, and it's going to be a very topsy-turvy season, and it's really exciting, to be honest. So
Right.
just for a context, I guess Liverpool and City face this weekend, right? So most people thought they will be the title challengers, but I think you have some 6 or 7 teams between Liverpool and City already in the points table. So that was really unexpected. So I think it's actually very exciting to see, even if you're neutral or not a neutral, because last season, even though Liverpool dominated it, it is kind of I don't know, monotonous to see just one team just going
I think there's
into
just
such a big lead.
4 points difference from the team in 10th and the top. So
Yeah.
9th or 10th. So that says a lot about this season. And no one can take any team for granted in this season, right? That's how it's been. But for Chelsea, I think you must be, as a Chelsea fan, you must be really pleased to see your team
It is
keeping clean sheets in a row. Like that's something that's
something we've
unheard of in like
time. I think
we've never
Kepa's
had.
era.
we've never had
Kepa's era.
4 clean sheets in a row for a long time. Last keeper to do that was Czech, and he's done like 4 clean sheets in a row, which is 3 clean sheets in a row, which is really interesting. I'm counting Champions League game also. So it's really interesting as a Chelsea fan because I can really see this tape shaping up and really getting balanced in 4-3-3. When it is very evident when you play the right players in their right position, it is very, very easy. It's not that complicated. They play well. They play really, really well. So I feel going forward, now we've got a solid base. Like 4-3-3 is the way to go, and Conte in midfield and have any number 8s in either side of him is really interesting. But that's against these small clubs. I want to see how he does it against the big side. I don't want to see this 5 at the back because it really tells that you're going to be really defensive. You're there to be grinding out results. But we should be also mindful that how Chelsea have set up in the past 4-2-3-1, 4-3-3. We've been trying a lot of things, but I feel ever since he's gone to 4-3-3, it's a really dominating thing. We've really started to dominate games when Conte is running the midfield. And when we bought Kai Havertz, we really thought we'll be expecting a lot of goals, a lot of assists from him. But what he's been doing is he's been like linking up plays between the forward and the midfield, and he's been doing that really, really well. So I'm really interested to see how he goes on and develops his game, because ZH has been really good. ZH, when he's come, he's fit right in. He
Yeah.
played 2 games and he's played both the games extremely well. And for me, he's also played a really, really integral part on connecting Werner's position. When Werner was playing on the left and we played Mount on the right, it wasn't working out. But the last game when he played, we can see the quality of what ZH has brought in, what exactly we
Yeah,
brought him for, and
ZH has been my favorite play. He's been my favorite player even when he was playing in Ajax. So to see him play for Chelsea and to see him playing that well it's great. Must be he's a great signing, and for that price,
right.
It's a brilliant business for by Chelsea. And
Right.
you guys have started being defensively solid, and if it was not for Mendy, I think you guys would have lost against United.
I would really say
He's
that,
been
because
brilliant. He was brilliant.
a lot of question marks were asked about our defensive performance, our defensive signings. It was very evident for me, it was very, very evident when we bought Thiago Silva. He's brought in a lot of quality and a lot of calmness in the field for Chelsea. He's calmed down. He's played. Zuma's looking a completely different proposition. He's brought in a good quality in Mendy. Our defense looks, calm around him. When he's not there, it's a completely different situation. So that's why when we played the game against Krasnodar, it was really, really important for us to get the clean sheet, because Thiago Silva did not play and we still got the clean sheet. So I want to see Thiago Silva not play and we get a lot of clean sheets. And for me, a lot of people looked into Timo Werner, a lot of people looked into Kai Havertz. For me, the most important signing for me and most efficient signing was Ben Chilwell. He's not put a foot wrong throughout his Chelsea career, early Chelsea career, is what I'd say. He's been really, really good. He's not out of position ever. For a fullback and for a player of his quality, a lot of question marks were asked for him and against him.
Because of the price tag.
Yeah,
That's the only
and
reason.
I always felt there was quality in him, but to see him play that well and bring him that level of sensibility for us, and Alonso and Emerson looks a long way from making the first team right now. So things are looking good. We are getting there.
It's not just Chilwell. Chilwell is not just a good player on the ball. He is very good at set pieces and all that as well. So he is definitely the signing that you needed on the left. And when you guys signed Thiago, I was not convinced about it. I thought you should have gone for a player who is much more younger and who can stay in the club for a long time. But Thiago has brought that level of experience, uh, that that captain mentality.
Right.
And it was brilliant to see Thiago go give his armband immediately when Jorginho came in, right? Is that right? When Jorginho came in, he went and straight away gave his armband to him. It shows that he does not have that ego, like in his head, like I am the big guy in the club.
The guy
that's a great thing to have.
A really interesting thing for me as a Chelsea fan is whenever a cross is put in, whenever a corner is given to the opposition team, we've always had a sense of panic. Oh shit, this is going to go against us. But Mendy's height and Thiago's heading ability is completely changed there. Whatever comes out.
Zuma is tall, right?
Zuma is tall. But even when we had Zuma last season, and a lot of balls, whenever it's played in, it's not that he always heads it out. But when he plays again with Silva, it looks completely different. He looks a calm proposition. But I always feel there's a mistake waiting to happen with Zuma. His first touch, I don't believe his first touch. Still, he's there. I always feel that there is always that one, frantic moment he's going to give us. But apart from that, it's something that he has to work on, and he will work on. Definitely, but I'd
say your defense is so calm at the moment is because you have Mendy in your
Right.
at the
We have a
goalkeeping
keeper we
place,
can
because
trust. That's a big
when
thing.
Kepa was there, yeah, exactly. When Kepa was there, your entire defense was a bit nervous to give him the ball, or they were not sure of what he was going to do at that moment. So
Yeah.
it sent out a very bad vibe
Mm.
throughout your entire defense. But with Mendy and his solid performances that he's had,
I would
Right.
to
basically
be honest,
say that it's entirely in the head of the players. When a player between the sticks is the last line of defender. When he is not in the best of form, it always is in your back of your mind. That should, when that is removed, and when you can trust a keeper like Mendy, and what he's shown in the games that he's played, that he's a solid keeper. He can make saves, and he's really agile for his height. He's 6'6", and he still makes all those quick reactions. So it's a really interesting thing, and I don't want to big him up so much. I want to see him play a lot better. I want to see
yeah,
him.
it's just still early days for him. He's
But
just played against few
the thing
teams,
with why
but
I'm little
the impact
excited
is there.
about him is because he's played against two big clubs, and he still produced a lot of big saves in all those games. So we know the ability is there. So now he has to keep that consistency, because even when Kepa was brought in, he had a lot of consistency in this first season. He was what, second? He kept 13 clean sheets, and he was second to Allison. So we thought we had a good keeper. So I want to see him perform to 2 to 3 seasons, and then I'll probably decide that if he's a good keeper or not.
What I should give Lampard credit is, like, I still feel Lampard is not the best thing for Chelsea, but I will give him credit for this one thing, because he plays Mount.
Right.
Mason Mount was you might have Kai Havertz, you might have Ziyech, your Chilwells, but he was very important for that game. Like, I like the way he plays Mount, and I big up Lampard for playing him, because I thought once you guys signed the big players, your youths will not get the game. That's what I thought. But then he's been given chances to Tammy, and he's given chances to
He's,
Mount, and Mount is taking his chances brilliantly. And few big names will be benched because of Mount's performance if he
I
keep
completely agree. Look,
continuing this way.
it's really evident why Frank likes Mount. Either he plays on the wing, either he plays on the midfield. He has this really important ability that every player must have. That you need to run and you need to work from minute 1 to minute 90, and Mount does that very easily. He doesn't care where he starts. When he starts in his best position, he is a little better. He shows what he can do a much more profoundly. But when he starts in the wings, there's a lot of question marks on Lampard, not Mount. Why you need to start him on the wings? But regardless of where he starts, he gives his best to the team. So that's what I like him, and we need a squad player like that. And I think that's exactly what Gareth Southgate also sees in him. That energy, that ability, and that willingness to press from minute 1 to minute 90. Not a lot of players do that. So
Grealish has that in abundance when he's not in the team. So don't talk about Southgate here. he's he's a different topic altogether. But Lampard, credit where credit due, man. Lampard
I mean, that's good man
has done.
management skills, because two youngsters, they can easily get insecure when a host of signings come in. So he's prevented that situation. He's handled it.
Yeah, and we've spoken about like the first team players not being there, but one team they don't care about, that is Liverpool. They keep winning. They do something or the other, and they churn out the result, man. Against West Ham, who were really good. Like, I should say, they were
Yeah.
unlucky to lose on that day, because Fornals he did score the goal, but he was too selfish. If he had passed the ball to Bowen, it would have been a tap in, and it would have been 2-2.
we
Like,
want
it would
that
have
one.
been 2-1 to West Ham. It would have been 2-1 to West Ham. But Jota, man, what a signing! He's come on, and he scored 2 goals. He scored lots of goals. He scored against us, and he scored in the Champions League, and he scored in the weekend. And that's a winning
And,
mentality that Klopp has instilled
Right,
in the team.
right. I mean, I
and
agree,
yeah,
because Jota looks completely different signing for Liverpool, and it is scary in any ways for when we come up against them, or when any team comes up against them, because what he does is he also is a player who can run from minute 1 to minute 90. And for a manager like Klopp, that's like, that's very, very important, because he asks that ethics from players, and he gives that. And what's also done is it's made him bench a very important player, who comes off the bench and scores, who is your Divock Origi. Divock Origi used to do that for Liverpool. Now he looks afar for them. He looks a really, really casted out member in Liverpool. And it's going to be a matter of time since Jota is going to start, because you can also give a lot of credit to Shaqiri, because their combination between Shaqiri and Jota has been really important and really interesting to be honest.
That was a brilliant pass by Shaqiri, man. That was amazing.
Yeah, just flip the defense.
Exact. That West Ham team, we thought that they would struggle, but against Liverpool, even against Liverpool, they didn't back down. I felt that the new defender, Phillips, Phillips, is it? Like the Liverpool defender.
I am not sure about his name.
Nathaniel
I think it's Phillips. He was brilliant. He was brilliant. He played really well. But if Antonio was there, the game would have been different.
Game would have been completely different. I felt also the same thing, because West Ham missed Antonio a lot. And to bring up a really interesting fact here is, ever since the restart, Liverpool has been the team who has conceded the most goals, which is
they've not been solid at all.
Their defense has been poor. And they've been still winning games. So people don't look into your defense when you start winning games. But I feel it's gonna be a matter of time since Liverpool is gonna start, struggling again, because in this season they are gonna have a lot of quick games, and they wouldn't have time to recover with the players they have lost. And their defense is not looking that great, and it's when they come against a quality side with a very informed side, we will know next week if they are good enough or not when they play against City.
In Man City.
Yeah, so I feel Man City are too good a team to miss out an opportunity of that defensive quality. If Liverpool defensively, nullifies their attack, I don't think so there is any team who can go past them this season.
Yeah, Diaz has been brilliant for them. The signing of Ruben Diaz and Cancelo has started really well, and I think Pep, he's become more dynamic this year. He does not rely on one trick to win a team and win against a particular team. He set up differently against Arsenal, knowing that how Arteta might set up differently. He outplayed Arteta, and he set up differently for against our club, and then he has brought some quality in the team, and they are playing well. And they could go on a run of games with that particular team, and they could they have a game in hand as well, so they can hurt a lot of teams in the top if they start coming into the form, and they're playing really well. And to see Sheffield United, man, the team that we were all raving about last year, they're nowhere to be seen. They're struggling so much this year.
I think they've been unlucky this season. They've had a lot of close results gone against them.
I mean, if you see their team, how they usually set up is they usually have that overlapping center backs. It's a really different thing what Chris Wilder's brought to the Premier League. But I feel he's relying on it too much. And I think a lot of team has already found his style. This overlapping center back isn't working enough. And I feel Sheffield will carry on to struggle. And I also feel Sheffield, I don't see Sheffield finishing them as well as they did last season. And I also don't feel Sheffield are good enough if they are going to do that one-trick pony in Premier League, because a lot of teams will find what you play and they will again easily nullify or even come off better. So Chris Wilder has to get into different tactics when it comes to managing his team. So it's really interesting because I feel as a Chelsea fan, I'm really happy on how Ampadu is playing for them. Because Ampadu is when he played he had a really good game against Liverpool, and he really played well against City is also what I'm hearing. So it's really interesting to see what Wilder is going to do, because was the manager. He was the manager for a lot of players and a lot of teams last season to look out for, and I am also interested in how he's going to tactically set up his teams for the upcoming games.
Speaking of managers that that we all looked out for, and the manager that can bring success, and this one team I'm pretty scared about, man. Tottenham, the way they are starting to grind out results
Right,
and starting to
Yeah.
make an impact, and the depth that they have in the squad at the moment, and also with this Mourinho thing where he performs well in the second season.
Second season, yeah.
Second season thing, it's actually happening. They are playing really well, and it would be a privilege for any team to have Bale on the bench to come and save the game for them. I think they have Son, Kane, and then if Bale also starts, I think that's going to be a very scary front three, and their defense has become very solid. And Højbjerg, like we gave him a lot of props
Yeah,
last
his
time
impact has
also.
been
The way
tremendous.
his impact has been brilliant. He's the Mourinho type player. He just
Right.
follows instructions. He doesn't ask any questions. He does whatever Mr. Mourinho wants, and that's brilliant. That's a brilliant thing to have. And I'm scared, dude. I'm scared as an Arsenal fan. I don't want Tottenham to perform as well as they have been performing.
Yeah,
But it's going to be a brilliant season, and it's already a brilliant season. And there's going to be a lot of injury scares for a lot of teams because of the tough fixtures and the cramped games.
Right.
So we'll look forward to this season more, and I'm excited as an Arsenal fan for the win. I think you should be happy for Chelsea. I think Man U will bounce back, but it's against Everton next week, so it's going to be difficult.
We can be optimistic about facing Everton this week because I think their form has kind of died off. They've lost against Southampton and Newcastle. So I think I mean Hammers will be starting this week, I guess. So I still think we can nullify because United are playing away. They're playing well away from home, which is I don't know if it's a curse or I don't know if it's a boon or something. But if Solskjaer can get his 11 right, if Van de Beek can start, I think we can be really optimistic that we'll win. But Luka Dean's ban has actually been reduced from 3 matches to one match. So he'll be playing. I think he'll have a very good impact. He's been very good down the flank, assisting and all that. But optimistic, I think United can come home with 3 points provided they get their 11 right. And I'm just hoping Van de Beek starts in the Premier League.
Right. I mean, I get that too, because I also feel United should be winning these games. But I also fear if Everton play their 11, what they've been playing in the first 2-3 games, and if they get their composition of playing Hammers a little deeper than what he's playing in the last 2 games, it's going to be really difficult because he can really run the whole defense. If you give him time and space, he's going to dictate the game very easily. And with the form that DCL has been scoring, even without James Rodriguez, it's really threatening for every team, not just United. So it's a very tasty fixture, and I would like to see. I would like to see United lose, to be honest, but I don't think so. It might happen, but it's going to be really tasty to see Everton versus United.
Right. I'd go for a draw between the two teams because both the teams are not in form. Like Man U in the Premier League, they have not been good.
Right.
And Everton in the past 2 games, they have not played well. But the Digne and Rodriguez, like Sharda said, they will have a huge impact
in
the way they play. And So it's going to be a great game of football for sure. So that's something we can look forward to. And there's also another big game
Yeah,
happening
that's
next week, which is the City Liverpool
New age
City fixture.
rivalry.
Yeah, the Liverpool Man City game. I think that's one big. I think that's where we can say Man City are if they get a result at Anfield, and we can say that Man City
I would really
can be
back
scary this season.
City this game because they have found they've not been in their best form, to be entirely honest, but they've found some rhythm coming into this fixture. They've started winning games, they've started getting the clean sheets, and I'm still, as you told, you probably are a little bit convinced in Diaz than I am, but I'm not still convinced with Diaz. I want to see how he performs against the front three of Salah, Mane, and Firmino. Although I don't see Firmino having much of a threat this game, but I want to see how he comes against Salah and Mane. So I am backing City to win this because of their defensive reliability ever since they restart, and I feel City will come off with a win this game. What about you, Sharura?
I
Yeah.
think Liverpool have been pushed out of their comfort zone because of Van Dijk's injury, because they've changed their structure from 4-3-3 to 4-2-3-1 in recent games. Also, they have to accommodate the form of Jota. So I think there is a distinct possibility that you can see Salah, Firmino, Mane, and Jota playing together, because with this defense, without Van Dijk and without Fabinho, I don't think I'm not sure if Fabinho is playing. It is going to be very difficult for them to get a clean sheet. So I don't think, as we already know, because Liverpool, no matter even if Van Dijk isn't there, Klopp is not going to let them be on the defensive side. So
Right.
Liverpool are the kind of team who, if the opposition will score 3 goals, they will look to score 4 goals. So there is a possibility that these four can play together. But the game's happening at Anfield, so
Right.
Liverpool have been in ominous form there for the
I
last
don't
three
think so.
to
It's happening in
four
Anfield. It's
years.
happening
So
at Etihad.
Is it
it's happening
happening
at
in India?
Etihad.
It is. I guess. I think
Yeah,
so.
okay.
Yeah, I think it's happening in Etihad.
Okay, if it's
Who?
happening at Etihad, I mean, yeah, I think City can come up with a win, but I mean, the home factor is somewhat crucial to how Liverpool go
I
about
don't
their
think so. The
matches.
home factors actually matters a
But
lot when the
it's
fans
going
are
to be a
not there.
it's going to be a tough match.
The home factor
I know,
doesn't
but Liverpool
much of a sense to me.
have their home record going on, right? They've been unbeaten over there for three to
Right,
4 years.
right. I know. Uh, it's it's it's
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
I get that, but I feel if City start their strongest 11, I still feel it's better off in the paper and it's better off in the field. They have too much quality, and the way Cancelo started, with the way they're shaping up, and I feel City should win this. And it's not only better for all the teams, it's better for the Premier League because you can see a lot more confusion for the title fight.
Yeah.
So I feel City might edge it, although not convincingly, but they might edge it. The next
Yeah,
probably,
City.
yeah, you were saying something.
I think City can cause a huge dent in Liverpool's title challenge because right now we all felt that City and Liverpool are going to be going at it this season again, but that's not been the case so far. It's been the other teams in the top four along with Liverpool. So if Man City beat Liverpool, I think Man City should be a force to be scared about because they have the team, they have the depth, they can
Right.
hurt any team on their given day,
Right.
and they don't have Liverpool don't have the defense that can ripple against the likes of Sterling and Bernardo, and if Aguero is, I think if Aguero plays,
Right.
I don't. If he's fit to play, then it's going to be a much more difficult game for Liverpool to cope up with. But let's see, man. I as a neutral, I don't. I want both the teams to lose points. So
You want to draw?
it's going to be.
I don't want Liverpool to come away with 3 points. Even as a neutral fan, I want City to win this because their
Uh,
points tally in this season has not been as threatening as Liverpool's has. So I would
But they
want.
have a game in hand. So
Yeah, they have a game in hand.
Yeah, which is okay. Yeah, which is a good point. So I'd still want to see how Liverpool recovers after a loss. So for that reason, I want Liverpool to lose. And for me, yeah. So that's gonna be really, really interesting. So
and Chelsea, you guys are you guys playing Sheffield this week?
for Sheffield,
Who
Chelsea,
are
I
you
mean,
guys
yeah,
playing this week?
we are playing Sheffield at Bridge, so it's going to be really interesting fixture for us because last season
You
we
can say
took
it.
them lightly. We were leading 2-0 and they came back and drew against us at Bridge. So I feel we have the form, we have the composure, we have everything behind us at the moment, and we should be winning this game. And these are the type of game
You
I
have
want
better
to see.
players.
Yeah,
You have better players than last year. You have better,
there
and
is no
Sheffield
complaint.
are not the same team.
They don't look the
The
same.
Sheffield is
Which is,
Sheffield
yeah.
exactly.
So
So
I
it
feel
should be an easy win for you guys.
I wouldn't say. See, as you told, as we already discussed in this conversation, it's not going to be as straightforward, but it should not be as difficult as last
Difficult as well.
season. So I feel that we have everything behind us and we should be winning these games. And I would like to see Chelsea dominate these games and. It's going to be really interesting. I want to see how Frank Lampard again sets up, if he's going to go back to 4-2-3-1 to accommodate everyone, or he's going to take a bold decision of 4-3-3 and making players bench. So either of the way, there is going to be a lot of questions asked. And if a system works and if that is benefiting the team, and I think that is the bigger uh, point he should be looking at than playing all this or satisfying all the players. So 4-3-3 is the way to go for Chelsea, and I feel Chelsea should come away with a win this game. And I think
Yeah.
Arsenal. I mean, yeah. What I probably you
we,
guys.
we play we play Aston Villa, like we play Aston Villa, and we are going to Martinez is coming back to the Emirates as
Right,
an Aston Villa player for the first time, so it's going to be a great game of football because you know what Aston Villa can do.
right,
So they have great players in the midfield. They have Megan, they have Grealish, they have Barkley, and their defense have been solid as well. So
mm,
I think it's the two best defense in the Premier League going against each other. If I'm not wrong, I think it's Aston Villa and Arsenal. So
right.
it's I personally want us to
Lose.
go on the front foot. Obviously not lose. I already there's so many people who are saying Leno should not play
Right.
because Martinez has like so many clean sheets. So if we lose, it'd be a disaster for Arsenal
Mm,
again. But I want to dominate these games
right.
as an, we are playing at the Emirates. So these are the games that we should be scoring a lot of goals, and we should dominate the possession and do it. But I don't think Aston Villa will let us do it because Grealish, that player has the quality to score a goal from anywhere. As in, he can create goals from out of nowhere. He can just
Right.
go on a
Right.
run and then
I mean, we did
he
see
can
that when
cause
they
some.
played against Southampton, didn't we? So even when Southampton were 4-0 or 5-0 up, you can't rest against a team like Aston
Oh,
Villa
yeah.
because they have the ability to hurt you any moment. They have a lot of
You
quality
can't
with
be
addition of
complacent on them.
Barkley. They have Grealish. They have Watkins. These players have really gelled in and fit right in for their squad, and they've started playing and they've started scoring goals. So yeah, I feel it's going to be a really tricky fixture for Arsenal, but they also shouldn't have any trouble. But if they start creating enough opportunities, and I feel they should be winning these games.
Yeah, we should
I
be
mean,
creating a
speaking of
lot more and scoring.
yeah, speaking of
Yeah,
small
go
clubs,
ahead.
I think we easily miss out Southampton in the list. And I
Right.
mean, all of us speak about Aston Villa, Leeds, and all that, but I think Southampton have been the surprise package this season. Obviously, they've been there in the Premier League for I think the
Mm-mm-mm.
last 8 years, but isn't isn't Ward-Prowse actually having the season of his life? And defensively, they have a very good goalkeeper. I mean, he's Southampton and Aston Villa have the most clean sheets in the Premier League this season, I guess. They're going head to head. And last season, I mean, the last game week, it was a cracker of a match. I mean, Aston Villa almost stole it at the end.
Right. Yeah. So which is really interesting. Yeah. So
They
I
have good goal scoring defenders as well, like Westergaard.
Ings never,
He's
I feel,
scoring a
never
lot.
runs out of form, and Che Adams is
And
really turning.
Ings will miss out next game, so he's not going to be playing. He's injured, so
Oh.
that's going to be a huge miss for them.
Yeah.
So we without Ings, I think Che Adams
And Shane Long
will be
might
a
come in.
great offense.
I think Che Adams is a different proposition when he plays alongside Ings, but I don't think so. He's much of a threat when he plays as a sole striker. And so I might see they
Yeah,
might pull in Shane Long, who can press.
Long will come in. Yeah,
I feel he might press a lot. He
Yeah.
does a lot of work off the ball than with the ball. So it's going to be really interesting. I feel Southampton will finish, in the top half of the table or even higher than what I expected initially, because they've been doing really well. And yes, so it's going to be interesting to see how they set up and how they win. So the next probably fixture that we always don't talk about enough, or we don't talk about them enough in this channel, is Tottenham, and they play against West Brom, which should be easy, in my opinion, with the squad
it should be
they
easy
have.
for them. But then even against Brighton, it was not a convincing victory. They had to bring Bale around 60, 70 minutes to win them the match,
Right.
and there was some contentious decision in that game as well. But
Thought
I don't know
the
where
Those are
goal
the
that
type of
Brighton
wins that
scored should have
Mourinho
been
likes.
disallowed actually,
Right. Right.
because it was a
but
clear tackle on Højbjerg.
Mm.
it
I
was
mean,
not.
these are the
It was
type
not
of wins I think Mourinho
convincing.
likes a lot. Mourinho does this because Mourinho is
Yeah,
not
yeah,
a man. Mourinho is not the type of the manager who plays very, very, very eye-pleasing football is what I'd like to say. He plays a lot of grind-out type of games, and
dodgy
he
football.
wouldn't mind these type of games at all. As long as he gets 3 points, as long as he keeps winning games, he will not care about possession. He would not care about shots taken and shots. Uh, Creating chances. If he creates 2 chances and those chances is converted, that's all he'll care about. And as a Chelsea fan, I think I can speak about him a little bit better, because that's what we've been doing. We used to grind out results when he was with us. So but it's very interesting to see that he still got it and he's still doing that. So I feel that they are too good of a side to come up with anything less than 3 points. So I still feel they will get the 3 points at West Brom, at Hawthorns, is what I'd say.
Another team that we thought will lose some steam, but they've not. It's Leicester. Their body keeps scoring away from. He scores a lot of away goals.
If he doesn't score, he
Doesn't.
assists.
He scores a lot of goals. He scores. He assists. He came off the bench. He scored, and Unda assisted again last night for Vardy's goal. So they I think they're second in the table. So it says a lot about them. They've lost their best
Right.
left back, and
Right.
they've lost their
Left back.
Maguire. It's not the left back, and they don't have that solid. But they bought their scouting and their way of buying people is brilliant, and they have Fofana looks brilliant. Justin is great on the ball. Cengiz Under, he's coming on and assisting, and he's making an impact. So
Right.
it's a great thing that Leicester are still fighting up top, and they've not come down. They're second in the table after 7 games, and credit to them, man. And Vardy keeps scoring. Like it's it's scary to play against him because of his pace and his directness. So, we've spoken about a lot of teams. Like I think it's the first time we've covered so many teams in this channel, because the league is like that, because any team can come up with a victory against any team, and we can't ask Aston Villa can come at Emirates and score 3 goals, and
Right.
we could see a shock defeat of Tottenham against West Brom. We can't even predict such things anymore. There's nothing as like a short victory in this
Right.
season, because everyone's playing at everyone's hungry to prove something,
Right.
because they feel the league is up for the taking. Like anyone
Right.
can win the title this season.
I feel it's just not going to be
Everyone's
about this season
fantasy
because
team is going for a toss.
right. Yeah, fantasy
Exactly,
games are
man.
going for a toss as well. I wouldn't complain much from my fantasy perspective last week because I've been doing well. Uh,
They put
uh,
Bellerin on the bench.
oh damn, that's a tricky
16
move. So
assist and clean sheet.
yeah, I wouldn't complain about my fantasy because I had Walker, I had Lamptey, and I also had I also captained Werner. So it's been a good week for me. So yeah, so coming to the end of this probably conversation about this week,
This long episode.
the longest episode we've ever done. I feel uh, it's tricky, and I feel.
Second longest. Yeah, it's.
I mean, we can keep debating because I think if we are not, if we're going to be inconsistent,
We can make it. We can make it the longest if we keep saying.
Yeah.
If we keep talking like this. So, but
really interesting.
It's been a brilliant season, and I think we should keep we should keep doing this
Right.
a lot more because there's going to be a lot of content for us to talk about. And Ani, do you want to just close it off?
I can do
because
it.
It's been a
So yeah, so it's interesting week of football. We missed 2 weeks, and it's going to be another interesting and fascinating week of football. We are facing we have a champion mid-game week at Renier at Bridge, and Man United have Istanbul, and I think Arsenal also have some Irish team.
We have some we already played against Dundalk last week. I don't know. I don't know who we have played. I don't care about that game.
I think so. Yeah. So it's going to be. We have a lot of mid-game weeks, but that's not what we are focusing about in this channel. But it's going to be really interesting on how the next game week is going to shape up. The most interesting picture is without a question Liverpool and City going off each other, and I would like, as I already told, I would want City to win, or I would want both of them to draw points. It's going to benefit any of the top clubs.
The most frustrating part about next week is we after next week games we have another international break. It's so stupid, man. When the games are so interesting to watch, this entire break is just
stupid about the players' fitness. I still feel with this current pandemic situation, these international breaks should not be.
No, I think Liverpool will be happy with the break. I'm not saying anything because they will hope Matip and Fabinho come back soon, so they'll be happy with it. It's a much needed break for them. But as a neutral, as a football guy who watches a lot of games, I feel this international break is pointless at the moment. It's just going to bring more. Yeah, it's just going to bring more corona into the Premier League, and it's going to stop the Premier League.
Yeah, as we already know, Ajax have 11 players who've already tested positive. I think that's an entire first team football, and I think Liverpool is facing them real soon, and I hope they don't.
They already, I think
Liverpool already faced them. They'll be facing Atlanta today.
Atlanta, right? I mean, by the time Liverpool go again to Ajax, or Ajax comes here, it's going to be really interesting.
Then Arsenal players will be tested as well because we played against Liverpool, so it's going to be a huge cycle.
Exactly.
It's going to be a huge cycle if this thing keeps continuing. Hopefully, I just noticed that the flag is upside down.
Oh damn! I mean, I noticed. I just don't want to mention it. Which is fine. So yes, guys. So that's about it for today. So we'll be catching up after the game week 8. Is that game week 8?
Yeah, it's
man.
Yeah. So we'll be catching after game week 8, and it's going to be really interesting. And I hope to see you guys really, really soon with an interesting set of fixtures for the next game week. See you guys soon, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I guess. Peace.
I swear you'll never see anything like this ever again.